There is a mysterious force that has been with you since birth, silently governing your body, emotions, and even your destiny, yet you've never noticed it. And the surprising truth is, that force is your breath, seemingly simple, but in fact the key to unlocking your chi, your spirit, and the entire hidden essence within you. If you know how to breathe, you can live longer than your destiny. It may sound strange, but for those who practice Eastern cultivation, especially within the Taoist tradition and traditional medicine, breath is not merely life. It is the connection between humans and heaven and earth. It is a subtle medium for exchanging not only oxygen, but also a kind of spiritual, mental, and cosmic energy they call chi. Breath, something we do every second, yet rarely realize its power. As you read these words, you're breathing. But do you know that the way you breathe determines the quality of your blood, the speed of your cellular aging, and even your state of mind? Breath is the only bodily function that is both automatic and consciously controllable. We cannot will our heart to beat slower or make our stomach digest faster. But breathing is different. You can change it immediately, make it slower, deeper, lighter. And this is not just a biological reaction, it directly activates the flow of energy known as chi. Chi, the silent language of the universe in breath. In modern medicine, when people talk about breathing, they think of oxygen, carbon dioxide, the gas exchange process in the lungs. But in Eastern philosophy and traditional medicine, especially in Taoism, breath is Shenqi Ji Men, the gate of spiritual energy. Qi is a concept that cannot be fully translated into Western language. It is not just energy. It is movement, the principle of life, the invisible bloodstream of the universe. Qi exists in the wind, in the clouds, in the life of plants, in human emotions, and especially, it permeates every breath you take. Taoists believe the living are sustained by qi, the dead have exhausted their qi. The strong are those with abundant qi, the weak are those with declining qi. Breath awakens qi, qi nourishes body and mind. The organs and qi blood. In traditional medicine, the human body is a system in which the 5 organs, heart, liver, spleen, lungs, kidneys, must be nourished by qi. Each deep breath is a moment when you send life energy into your internal organs. Shallow breath, weak qi, leads to weakened organs. The lungs are where we inhale the air of the heavens, heavenly qi, which combines with the essence from food, earthly qi, to form original qi, the fuel for life. A person who breathes steadily, deeply, and calmly is less likely to suffer from exhaustion, has stable blood pressure, and a strong immune system. On the other hand, someone who breathes rapidly or irregularly may experience stagnant qi, leading to fatigue, anxiety, and overall weakness. Unblocking the meridians, releasing stagnant energy. Qi flows through meridians, invisible energy channels that connect the whole body. When qi is blocked, due to stress, negative emotions, or unhealthy lifestyle, the body signals this through pain, cold limbs, irregular heartbeat, or even depression. Just 10 minutes a day with a gentle breathing exercise, guiding qi down to the dantian and feeling each breath pass along the spine, can begin to open the pathway for qi to circulate. To absorb the qi of heaven and earth, breath no longer belongs to the self. Eastern cultivators don't breathe just to live. They breathe to connect with heaven and earth. Taoists call breath cultivation the act of absorbing the qi of heaven and earth, drawing the essence of nature to nourish the body, the mind, and the spirit. When we stand in the early morning wind, sit quietly in the forest, or greet the silent dawn, that is when the qi of heaven and earth is strongest. And if we know how to breathe, we can merge into that invisible flow. Ordinary people breathe to survive each day. Practitioners breathe to transcend the days. Taoist legend. Breath, a quiet miracle in daily life. Today, people talk endlessly about nutrition, exercise, and supplements. But they forget that we breathe over 20,000 times a day, and each breath is an opportunity to heal. Deep breathing helps reduce nervous tension, calm the sympathetic nervous system, Improve blood circulation. Stimulate the brain to release serotonin, the happiness hormone. Bring consciousness into the present moment. We don't need to seek superpowers, don't need to wait for miracles, we already have them in our breath. Breath in meditation, the threshold between mortality and enlightenment. In Buddhist meditation, especially Zen, breath is used as an object of contemplation. Not to control, but to become aware of. When the mind is still, the breath becomes so subtle it seems to disappear. This is the state of non-breathing, Wu 11. But at that moment, Qi is no longer something we take in, but something we become. Merging with the breath, with life, with time. It is no longer you breathing, but the breath becoming you. Ancient breathing practices. In many Qi cultivation traditions, there are long-term breathing practices to unlock potential and energy. Dantian inhalation and exhalation. Focus on the area below the navel. Inhale deeply, feel Qi gather in the Dantian. Exhale gently, as if releasing all fatigue. Repeat 108 times every morning and evening. Essence absorbing method, Taoist. Stand under the bright moon, inhale as if drawing in moonlight. Hold breath for 7 seconds, imagining moonlight spreading throughout the body. Exhale gently, returning gratitude to heaven and earth. Microcosmic orbit breathing. Inhale and guide Qi from the Dantian up the spine to the crown of the head. Exhale and guide Qi down the front of the body, returning to the Dantian. Repeat to open the Ren and Du meridians, forming the microcosmic orbit. Breath, a door that anyone can open. You don't need to live in a mountain retreat, practice martial arts, or train supernatural abilities to feel Qi. You just need to sit down, be still for a few minutes a day, breathe deeply, feel the Qi enter with each inhale, and dissolve with each exhale. The more modern our world becomes, the more we forget how to breathe. But if you remember, you will hold the key that Eastern ancestors passed down through thousands of years. Master your breath, and you master your destiny. There is a doorway to the depths of consciousness that every human carries throughout life, and the key to unlock it lies in each breath. Breath, a tool of consciousness, not just of life. In every ancient culture, especially in the East, breath is not merely a sign that you're alive, it is the only physical manifestation of the functioning mind. When you are in deep sleep, your breath slows down. When you are anxious, your breath becomes rapid. When you meditate, your breath nearly disappears. This is not a coincidence. Breath is the most truthful reflection of the state of your mind. And conversely, it is also the most powerful tool to change that state. We cannot command the brain to stop thinking. But we can change the way we breathe, and the brain, instinctively, will have to adapt. This is the first door to access deeper layers of consciousness, which are normally hidden behind noisy thoughts and unconscious emotional reactions. The layers of consciousness that breath can unlock. Consciousness is not a solid block. It is a layered structure, like an ocean with its surface, middle depths, deep seabed, and even the bedrock beneath. We live almost entirely on the surface, where inner speech, recent memories, and daily repetitive thoughts ebb and flow like waves. Breath, when used correctly, can guide us down through each layer. The layer of subconscious memory. This is where fragments of childhood, emotional trauma, and unnamed feelings are stored. Through controlled breathing techniques, many people unexpectedly recall childhood events they thought were forgotten. Inner voices of their parents. Moments that shaped their personality without them ever realizing it. This is the layer where breath becomes light, illuminating the dark corners of the soul. The layer of suppressed emotions. In modern society, people learn to suppress emotions instead of transforming them. Sadness is swallowed, anger is buried, fear is pushed aside. But emotions do not disappear, they hide in the body, manifesting as muscle tension, illness, and neurological disorders. Breathing techniques that are deep, rhythmic, and cyclical, like box breathing or rebirthing breath work, can cause these emotions to burst out, flowing like a spring after years of being dammed up. I cried like a child after 30 minutes of cyclic breathing. Not because of anything specific. But something inside me had been released. A practitioner of holotropic breathing. The layer of selfless observation. Deeper still, breath becomes more than a tool to remember, it becomes a vehicle to transcend the ego. Many practitioners describe experiences such as detaching from the body, observing themselves from an external perspective, becoming aware of their consciousness without needing to think. This is the layer where consciousness transforms, from the thinker, to the observer of thoughts. And that is the first stage of enlightenment, the gaze that sees beyond personality and ego. Breathing methods that unlock consciousness. Box breathing, a framework to stabilize the mind. This method consists of 4 equal steps. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Pause for 4 seconds. Maintain this rhythm for 10 to 15 minutes, and something miraculous happens. The mind begins to settle, distractions fade, and you feel suspended between time and space. Box breathing isn't forceful like a punch, it's steady like water eroding stone. It gently leads you into wakeful stillness without effort. Holotropic breathing, an intense breathwork to pass through the mind. Developed by psychiatrist Stanislav Grof, this method uses fast, deep, continuous breathing to induce altered states of consciousness, similar to near-death experiences or shamanic rituals. Breathing is continuous, without pause, typically lasting 30 to 60 minutes. Music is used to support a hypnotic effect. Emotions surge intensely. Some people laugh, cry, scream, tremble, or even feel like they're leaving their body. The goal is not control, but surrender. When you release all expectations, breath becomes a tidal wave that sweeps away the mental debris you've long buried. Taoist Qigong meditation, breath guides Qi, Qi opens awareness. Unlike in the West, Qigong is not just breathing, it is the art of guiding Qi through intention. Breath doesn't move on its own, it is led by the mind. A basic exercise. Inhale gently, guiding Qi from the nose down to the dantian. Exhale, feeling Qi spread throughout the body. Once proficient, one can guide Qi through the Ren and Du meridians, forming a closed energy circuit known as the microcosmic orbit. When the orbit flows, the brain enters synchronization, alpha, theta, and even delta waves. These are brainwave states of dreams, intuition, and deep subconscious insight. Why breath unlocks consciousness, not chanting, meditation, or reflection? Because breath is more primal than thought. Before we could speak, we could breathe. Before we knew joy or sorrow, we had already inhaled the world and exhaled our being. Breath is not bound by language. It is the most ancient bridge between matter and spirit. Meditation requires training, but breath is always available. Chanting needs meaning, but breath transcends meaning. That is why breath is the most accessible tool for anyone to enter the inner realm. Transcendent states triggered by breath. Many practitioners report experiences during deep breathing sessions. Decoding old dreams, suddenly understanding a strange dream from years ago, as if someone whispered the meaning inside their mind. Dialogue with the higher self, hearing an inner voice, not sure where it came from, but full of clarity and wisdom. Sense of dissolution, all bodily boundaries disappear, leaving only consciousness floating in vast emptiness. Awareness of death, not fearful, not sad, just a deep recognition of life, as a continuous flow. None of these states require drugs or mystical rituals. Just correct breathing, and enough depth. Practice principles, working with breath responsibly. Don't force, listen. Breath is not something to conquer, it is a companion. Everyone has their own threshold. If you feel dizzy, irregular, or uncomfortable, stop. Breath never lies, it only shows that you're not yet ready to go deeper. Don't seek outcomes, let go. Consciousness isn't a door you push open, it opens when you stop trying. When you breathe with the desire to reach a higher state, that desire itself becomes the barrier. The more you breathe playfully, like dancing with the invisible, the more easily you ride the wave inward. The door is always there, just one true breath away. On every journey of self-discovery, the strangest truth is this: the key has always been inside us, and it's often the most forgotten. Breath, the simplest and most familiar tool, is the very path that leads us to our deepest layers. No doctrine needed, no guide required. Just you, and a breath, sincere and real. When we know how to breathe, we are no longer trapped in the body. We become the light that breathes. An anonymous Zen master. If breath is the bridge, then intention is the guide, and when the two unite, chi begins to move, and consciousness begins to awaken. Chi only moves when there is intention, and intention only has power when there is breath. By now, we understand that breath is not merely a means to nourish the body, it is also a tool to unlock the subconscious and awaken the vital life energy within, known by the ancients as chi. But chi does not move on its own. It is not a random wind. It waits for a decisive factor, intention. The Taoists say, "Yi shou dan tian, qi zi gui yuan." When the mind focuses on the dantian, chi will naturally return to its source. In Eastern mystical traditions, when intention merges with breath, an invisible flow is activated. This flow does not run through veins, but through meridians, acupoints, the spine, endocrine glands, and subtle energy centers such as the dantian, the pineal gland, or chakras. Breath gains direction, chi gains purpose. Ordinarily, we breathe without thinking about it. The breath rises and falls in the chest and then dissipates. But when we place intention into the breath, everything changes. A directed flow begins to take shape, and this flow is the foundation of all methods of internal energy activation in Taoism, Vajrayana Buddhism, Kundalini Yoga, and Qigong. Bringing Qi to the dantian, strengthening the root of life. The dantian, lower dantian, is an area about 3 centimeters below the navel, considered the origin of original Qi. When we inhale and direct our awareness to this area, energy begins to concentrate there. This is the stage of gathering Qi. Exhaling gently, intention holds the Qi in the dantian, preventing it from dispersing. When the dantian is full, the whole body begins to feel warm, the foundation of health is strengthened, and the mind becomes as steady as a mountain. Guiding Qi along the spine, awakening the spiritual axis. In Eastern mystical systems, the spine is not just a skeletal structure, it is the main energy axis connecting heaven and earth, body and spirit. When we inhale and use intention to guide Qi from the dantian up the spine, Qi will pass through. Sacrum, the starting point of life energy. Lower back, Mingmen, center of internal power. Jiaji points, along both sides of the spine, vital meridians. Jade pillow, nape of the neck, gateway to the brain. And finally, Baihui, crown of the head, the point of celestial connection. This is a core technique in the microcosmic orbit, Taoism, and Kundalini Yoga, India. When energy ascends along the spine, it begins to activate less used parts of the brain, sparking intuition, inspiration, and deeper awareness. Focusing on the pineal gland, the meeting point of the physical and metaphysical. The pineal gland, also known as the third eye, is a tiny gland deep in the brain. It regulates the circadian rhythm and is especially responsible for producing melatonin, a hormone that controls sleep and dreams. In mysticism, the pineal gland is seen as the center that connects the body to the soul, the receiver of information from the unseen world. When you focus breath and intention on this area, you are knocking on the doorway to the space beyond the mind. Signs the pineal gland is awakening. Tingling sensation at the forehead. Flashes of light when eyes are closed. Heightened intuition. Dreams become vivid and meaningful. Guiding Qi to the chakras, reviving dormant energy centers. In the Indian chakra system, there are 7 main energy centers, each governing a different aspect of life, from survival, emotion, and willpower to love, communication, intellect, and spiritual awakening. Breath, combined with visualization and intention, can activate each chakra. Inhale, guide chi to chakra 3, solar plexus, boosting willpower. Exhale, visualize chi radiating in chakra 4, heart, healing emotions. Guide chi through chakra 6, forehead, awakening intuition. When each chakra is activated, life energy flows harmoniously, emotions are released, the mind becomes clear, and inner knowing begins to emerge. When chi flows, blood circulates, spirit appears. An Eastern medical principle says, "Chi flows, then blood flows. When chi is stable, spirit resides." This sentence contains a profound triadic relationship. Chi is the force. Blood is the substance. Shen, spirit, is consciousness. If chi is blocked, blood stagnates, and the body becomes fatigued. But when chi circulates, not only blood but also awareness becomes clearer, sharper, and more vibrant. Spirit no longer scatters, but gathers, in the eyes, in presence, in the glow of inner light. Experiences of spiritual awakening through breath and chi. Many people, after practicing breathwork with intention, have reported extraordinary phenomena. Feeling energy move through the body like subtle electricity. Seeing inner light during deep meditation, even with eyes closed. Surging intuition, as if sensing what's about to happen. Easily decoding dreams, receiving clear messages from the subconscious. Brief out-of-body experiences, observing oneself from outside. These are not supernatural events in a mystical sense, but manifestations of an expanded state of consciousness, with breath and chi as the foundation. Practice, breath-guided chi, the art of silence. A simple energy practice, gather chi, guide chi, store spirit. Gathering chi, into the dantian. Sit upright, eyes half closed. Inhale deeply, visualizing chi going straight to the lower abdomen. Hold for 3 seconds, feel warmth spreading. Exhale gently through the nose. Repeat 30 times. Guiding chi, along the spine. Once chi is gathered, begin visualizing chi rising from the dantian along the spine. Inhale, chi moves to the nape, then the crown of the head. Exhale, chi descends along the front of the body, returning to the dantian. Complete the microcosmic orbit. Repeat for 18 to 36 cycles. Storing spirit, in stillness. After circulating chi, sit quietly. No more control. Feel the presence of the whole body. Whatever sensations or images arise, simply observe. This is the moment when awakened consciousness begins to connect. Cautions and safety principles. Do not practice when tired, stressed, or ill. Never force chi, forced chi flows in reverse. Don't obsess over results, spiritual awakening comes when you surrender. If you feel dizziness, headache, or numbness, stop and rest. Conclusion, breath, chi, spirit, the sacred triangle of inner cultivation. In Eastern traditions, he who understands breath, understands chi. He who guides chi, masters blood flow and emotion. He who stabilizes spirit, enters the state of spirit dwelling within, unshaken and undistracted. This is not magic, it is the art of living. And every path to this state begins with a single conscious breath. And so, we've just taken a journey together to explore the miraculous power hidden within each breath, where chi flows, spirit reveals itself, and the deepest layers of the self begin to awaken. If you've ever had an experience while practicing breathwork, feeling the movement of chi, or even touching a different state of consciousness, please share it in the comments below. I'd love to read your stories and dive deeper into this topic with you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Human Mist channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming videos, where we'll continue to uncover the ancient mysteries of the body, mind, and life energy. See you in the next video.